Forward to part 2 of that tomorrow. Let's get to the latest on our homeless crisis now. At the end of last week, Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler announced a major plan to address homelessness, arguably the most significant proposed step by City Hall in years, and one with a goal of banning unsanctioned camping across the entire city. A quick note here. We hear from you, our viewers, in some shape or form just about every day about some tentacle of this crisis, not to paint any population with a broad brush, right? But whether it is camping or mental health or drug use or crime, the message that has come through from you to us is that you are fed up. You're looking for both change and solutions. And that is a message that's not just coming from Portlanders who live here, but we're also hearing from business owners who haven't waited for that change before they've moved on and out, as well as others who say it is long overdue. So Blair Best took the mayor's proposal out to them to see if it impacts their plans to stick around.
The mayor's plan to address homelessness comes after dozens of downtown businesses have already closed, in part due to the homeless crisis. Now, many business owners are wishing that this plan had come a lot sooner. When walking downtown Portland, it's hard not to notice the empty storefronts and for lease signs at nearly every corner.
It's going to be a very long process to recover from this.
Some describe it as a slow deterioration, one of the many side effects of the city's homeless crisis.
The closer you get to Old Town, the worse it is.
Todd Gooding runs Scanlon Kemper Bard Companies, which owns 5 commercial buildings downtown. In recent months, they've lost tenants and are now in the process of selling 2 buildings, all due to safety concerns.
We've had multiple assaults. Basically, from Pioneer Square north, it's pretty rough still.
Last week, Mayor Ted Wheeler announced a 5-part plan to address this crisis head-on. It includes banning camping over an 18-month period and building 3 giant homeless campuses instead. It calls for 20,000 affordable housing units by 2033 and changes to city protocols so the homeless can easily access addiction and mental health services and get jobs.
I think it's a step in the right direction. I hope he goes all the way and outlaws camping on the streets.
I live in Portland. I like Portland. I'd love it to be back to where it was.
This is Tim Boyle, the president and CEO of Columbia Sportswear, which has also been negatively impacted by this crisis. He's now moving the Sorel Shoe and Clothing division out of downtown and into Washington County.
We're trying to attract people to come to work for the company. And Portland was a net positive in many, many ways for years. It's now a net negative.
Do you have faith in city government that they can pull off a plan of this magnitude?
I'm anxious to see some action. There's been lots of discussion on the topic, as you know. Most of these issues are as a result of lack of funding. This is not the case here. There is an enormous amount of money available for this topic, and we haven't seen any action.
Today, the mayor is in LA to see how they deal with homelessness. Now, on Wednesday, he'll present his plan to City Council. That meeting is open to the public. You just have to register. Blair Best, KGW News.
Well, before Blair even finished putting that story together, we had a few more questions we wanted to add to her list, including what other feedback she has heard from businesses and Portlanders. Is there optimism about this plan? Is this time potentially different? And also, it really stuck out to hear Tim Boyle there call Portland a, quote, net negative. So we asked Blair if that is a theme she hears often.
Joining you from inside the news car here, trying to stay dry from all this rain. You asked, since the plan was introduced on Friday, what other feedback have I received? Has it been optimistic or this feeling of here we go again? And I think it's safe to say that for those who know about the plan, that they are optimistic. They're happy to see some urgency coming from City Hall when it comes to the homeless crisis. I think right now it's a waiting game to see how will this be implemented. Where will these large campuses actually be located? Who will it be impacting? How will it be enforced? And ultimately, what will the results of this be? And will it happen quickly or will it be years from now? So I think, it's just a waiting game, and business owners are just hopeful and hoping that the city can pull it off. You commented on Tim Boyle calling Portland net negative as it pertains to the homeless crisis, and you asked if that's a theme that I hear in my reporting. And yeah, I would say it is. When talking to local businesses, it is nearly impossible not to talk about the homeless crisis or safety concerns facing their employees. I mean, so many businesses are just struggling to stay afloat with the amount of money they have to spend on repairing things like graffiti and vandalism. So no, I wasn't surprised when I heard Tim Boyle call Portland net negative as it pertains to the homeless crisis.